So first thing I'm going to do is sort of give you an intro of that day, sort of what I do at work and everything. So as you recall, September the 11th was a Tuesday. And when I got to work, it was just a beautiful sunny day, blue skies. Couldn't ask for a nicer day. And let me start explaining about my typical day when I work down in the Pentagon. Of course, as Neil said, I worked in the Pentagon from 2000 to 2007. My commute was pretty long, about 110 miles. I would get up at 6:30 or 3:30 in the morning, drive to Hagerstown, and then catch a bus that drove us to the Shady Grove Metro. Then I'd get on the Metro and take the red line to the yellow line to the Pentagon, arriving roughly around 6 a.m. Organizationally, I worked for Army headquarters, and the organization was the Assistant Chief of Staff for Installation Management. Our commander was a 2-star general, and basically what we did, we oversaw the maintenance of Army installations across the world, and that's basically what I did. So what I want to talk about is the Pentagon itself, the structure, and then I'll talk to you about my experience on that fateful day. When I explain about the Pentagon, I say that it's think of fives. The building has 5 sides. It's 5 levels, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it has 5 rings. I'll show you a better photo of that with the next slide. And it has a 5-acre courtyard in the middle, and you can sort of see it on this slide, but basically it was like sort of like a park, if you will, magnolia trees, park benches, picnic tables, and the like. So here's a nice aerial photograph of the Pentagon. You can see the 5 sides, the 5-acre courtyard in the middle. And if you look, there's 5 concentric rings around the Pentagon, and they're all independent, meaning you can actually drive in between those different rings. The rings are called the ABCDE ring, and I'll talk about that a little later. But and this is a sort of a closer photo, but if you look in the very middle of the 5-acre courtyard, you see a little, pentagonal shed or building, and so the Soviets, they did aerial photographs of the Pentagon, and they saw this little shed or whatever in the middle, and people walking in and out of it, and they thought it was something really strategic, if you will, like an operational center or a bunker or something like that. And so what it was, it's actually a snack bar. So the people would go and get their lunches and stuff like that. So the building was built in 1942, and it's made of pretty much concrete. Back then, during the war, steel was being rationed for the war effort. So with the concrete, they actually dredged the Potomac River, which is just a half a mile to the east. It has 17 miles of quarters and houses about 22,000 employees. And the size of it actually has more office space than the Empire State Building. And I forgot that little snack bar in the middle, because the Soviets were so interested in it. Apparently, they had a nuclear weapon aimed at it. So it's dubbed the Ground Zero hot dog stand. Okay. So what I'm going to share with you now is a conversation between my son Matt and I. He was up at Penn State as a student, and this is instant messaging, and it was really before texting. So and you use the computer for this instead of a smartphone. So at okay, so just remember the Pentagon was hit at 9:37 in the morning. So Matt IM'd me, and he said, "Hey, I got a cell phone. So we're just having a conversation here." I said, "Give me a call," and he says, "At home." I said, "I'm only kidding." So we were just talking about his new cell phone. Good. Okay, so at 9:05. He said, "Dude, a plane crashed into the World Trade Center." And he said, as they were filming it, another one hit. I said, "No." He said, "Yeah." He said, "It's on the news right now." And I said, "Private plane?" He said, "Large plane. They don't know yet." Then he talked about his phone a little bit. And I said, "Did you say two planes?" He said, "Oh man, they showed it. The other one when it hit." And he said, "Yeah, two planes. Because they think it could be terrorism," he says. 737, they said it could be. I said, "Hang on, I'm going to go down to a TV." So I walked down to the correspondence quarter in the Pentagon, and that's where like CNN, MSNBC, Fox News, they all had their Pentagon correspondence. So I went into, actually it was Jim McCloskey's office from Fox, and he had some big TVs in there. I was watching it, and I said, "Oh, this." I said, "Oh, I can't believe this." So I felt I should really get back to work, but I did. I am Matt back. I said, "Isn't that crazy?" And then listen to what I said at 9:34. I hope the Pentagon's not on the list. He said, "Yeah, that's true." He says, "Sounds like capitalistic buildings, etc." I said, "Yeah." So anyway, back to your phone. We won't go into those details, but so at 9:37, I was sitting at my desk, and I was in that A ring, the very inside ring, and I felt this rumble and vibration and explosion. So then I walked out into the that 5-acre courtyard in the middle, and I saw this black smoke billowing over the building. So I knew that we got hit. So I am Matt back. I said, "The Pentagon just got hit." "Really?" I said, "I gotta go," because we were evacuating. He said, "Okay." And I said, "Tell Mom I'm okay." He said, "Okay." He said, "Are you serious?" I said, "Yes, we're evacuating the building." And I said, "Really?" He said, "Go, get out." So we evacuated, and for me, it was basically a like a fire drill evacuation. I walked around the E ring to the exit where the metro is, and so I was curious to see what was going on. So I actually walked across around the building to the west side where the plane hit, and saw what was happening. And I have some photos of that, which I'll share with you. Oh, that was a plane, a 707, that was similar to one that hit the building. That did not hit the. I mean, that is not the plane. So here's a sort of a rendition of the plane hitting the building. That's the west side of the building, and and uh, and it came from sort of the Dulles, Crystal City area. So here's this is a security camera that caught the explosion, and this is actually sort of a couple of the slides. So it actually hit the ground before it ran into the building. So where you see the red arrow on the upper left is where the plane hit. Where the green or the red star is, that's where my front office was. And then the blue star is actually where my office was. And just some slides of, this is basically what I saw when I went into the center courtyard, the smoke billowing out. So again, the evacuation was pretty standard. This is what I saw when I did walk around to the west side of the building. And some more photos. That highway there is Highway 27, which is on the west side of the building. And some more folks. Rescue was starting to come. The cell phones were pretty much shut down for us. And I'm just going to show you a series of photos of what I saw that morning. So where the yellow circle is where the plane hit. And where the red arrow is my front office. So when I walked down to the correspondence corridor after the plane slammed into the building, I actually walked around the E ring, which is very, very close to this. So sort of at the right place at the right time, I suppose. So this, the west side of the Pentagon had a helipad, and there was a helicopter there to sort of fly the senior leaders to wherever, Fort Meade, Fort Belvoir, the naval grounds or whatever. So the folks inside, the operators inside the helipad control tower were knocked unconscious. Still survived, but knocked unconscious. Some more, photos of the west side of the building. People helping people. Again, cell phones really didn't work. So I was trying to call Darlene, and I couldn't get any cell phone service. So I did get a hold of Matt up at Penn State, and he was able to call her and let her know that I was okay. It slammed into a couple of light posts coming in. This is pretty much when the fire went out, and you can see the center of the Pentagon there, the wall collapsed. Some rubble from the airplane or the jet coming in. It's one of the engines. So this is the trajectory of the plane coming in. And as you can see, it came through the outside ring, the E ring, through the D ring, and it punched a hole in the C ring on the inside, and that right bottom photo shows where the nose of the fuselage hit. That's a better picture of it, but it didn't go into the B ring or the A ring where I was. But you can see from the trajectory, it was on its way to us. But like I said, the Pentagon was built of concrete, very strong. So the plane couldn't go the whole way through. Some more photos. I think this is the between the C ring and the D ring, I believe. Some more of the damage. That's where I said the E-ring wall collapsed. Some of the photos inside. So 1 year later, they had a commemorative service, and that's what it looks like. Donald Rumsfeld and President Bush were there. That's me when I had brown hair. That's one of my colleagues, Lieutenant Colonel. So that's what it looks like now, completely rebuilt. And that's limestone taken from the same quarry from when the Pentagon was built. And there's a Pentagon Memorial, which I encourage you to visit. Those benches are each one is named after the people that were killed on the flight and in the building. Okay, that's pretty much it. Just a couple of footnotes here. I lost 2 employees that day. They were in the conference room there on the west side of the building. They were actually watching what was going on in New York, and the plane slammed into their conference room. So they died instantly. Another colleague, Lieutenant Colonel Brian Birdwell, he was walking out of the bathroom in the middle of the building and got hit by the fireball that stormed from down the hallway. The sprinkler system went off, and he had burns over about 50% of his body. So in the mornings, he always drinks a soda. So he had to go to the bathroom. So he left the E-ring, went down into the middle of the building to the bathroom. So he always said that soda saved his life. So in the end, there were 64 people on Flight 77 killed, and another 125 in the building, including 2 of my colleagues. So I think that's it. Yep, that's it. Does anybody have any questions?
How do you cope with that?
Well, it's sort of emotional at times. I'm pretty much over it. It's funny whenever I called Matt to tell him I was okay, he was in his dorm room and he yelled out to his friends, "My dad's alive!" So I still get a little emotional over things like that. Losing my 2 colleagues. Lieutenant Colonel Brian Birdwell retired, and he's now down. He's a politician down in Texas right now. So it's hard sometimes, but like I say, that was 20 years ago. So just have to cope.